Today on It's Your Money, we're going to talk about small businesses in St. Louis and why St. Louis ranked among the top 10 cities for startups. We're going to talk about the incentives available for startup companies. We're going to talk about our very own Chinatown, and we're going to have a visit to our business coach. So stay tuned. A recent Kiplinger report ranking the top 10 cities to start a business has ranked St. Louis as number 5. In the report, it stated that St. Louis was small compared to the other cities on the list, but the tax breaks and incentive programs given to local startups put us in the conversation. So that brings us to today's topic, and it brings us to our first guest, which is Mr. Jerry Schlichter, founder and managing partner of Schlichter, Bogart & Denton, a prominent St. Louis law firm. He's also the founder and president of Arch Grants. Arch Grants is a corporation that seeks to fund startup companies. Thanks for coming, Jerry, and welcome.
Thank you, Darlene. Happy to be here.
Glad you could come. Now, Arch Grants, that's unique in the city of St. Louis. I understand you were seeking to help increase opportunities for employment, to help to make St. Louis a place where entrepreneurs could start a business and grow a business. Talk about Arch Grants.
I love talking about Arch Grants because we have a lot of enthusiastic people involved in many ways. A little over a year ago, Arch Grants was an idea that came out of a desire to try to change the dialogue about St. Louis and some of the negatives that we see in the headlines about population stagnation and job loss. I and others formed a not-for-profit corporation, Arch Grants, and the idea is to have a national competition for entrepreneurs to either start up in St. Louis who are already here or come to St. Louis, receive a $50,000 grant, no giving up of any part of the company, 10% or anything like that, a pure grant, plus a very broad package of support services, business mentoring, really cheap space, $4 a foot we have, which is dirt cheap. An entrepreneur can get into space for maybe $150 a month. Free legal and accounting services, access to university faculty and university resources, and a chance to compete for a second round of $100,000 to go into their business. So we don't want to do this as a program that's on the margin, 1 or 2 startups. We want to have scale. And by that I mean have enough where we can really develop a critical mass here in St. Louis of entrepreneurs who have exciting startup businesses with the potential for national sales, and ultimately do this year after year so that we have a critical mass here and a real buzz created about St. Louis as a great place for startup businesses around the country.
Wow, you mentioned critical mass, and I understand that this year is your first round of funding.
Yes.
Talk about how many startups was funded for the first round.
We funded 15 startups with a grant of $50,000 each, $750,000. They're just now finishing setting up shop. We had a national competition, had 420 applicants from all over the country and actually internationally. And we culled it down and had the finalists, 30 finalists, come here for a weekend of judging and showing them St. Louis, as well as the local people. And 15 winners, as I say. They're currently, most of them are going to be located downtown in the old Railway Exchange building, the former famous bar building, because we've got very cheap space for them. Some of them will be in the Cortex area in Midtown. But it's a program for all of St. Louis, and it's so exciting to see the energy and the enthusiasm that some of these young companies have. We have people from, can think of 4 young people from Rolla, from the university there, who are doing video gaming. They create these video games, and they work day and night. They're there at 2 in the morning. They sleep there like real entrepreneurs who are throwing themselves into the business. We have another business called Med Preps, which has 2 partners, one of whom is a native St. Louisan and left. They both went to Washington University, and as we know, so many of our young people leave and go to other cities with opportunities. One was living in Minneapolis, one was living in San Francisco. They're Arch Grant winners. They've come back. Wash U grads, could be anywhere in the country. They're starting their business here in St. Louis. Wow. And that's an example of some of the great things happening.
So how many awardees were actually living and working in St. Louis that was able to receive funding?
Over half, approximately 9 of them are from St. Louis, and the others are from out of St. Louis, and actually some of them, we've had someone move here from Chicago, from Dallas. They have 2 partners who just moved here, one from France and Portugal.
Awesome.
Are now living and working in St. Louis.
Awesome.
We have another one from Costa Rica who's waiting on a visa. So a combination of local people and people from out of town, and a real synergy and networking among these entrepreneurs is what we're seeing.
Well, it sounds like you have a pretty diverse group of winners of this first round, and I know that's very important because you have a diverse group of partners as well that help you fund. You want to tell us a little bit about the funding or the behind the scenes, or something that tells us how you're going to sustain this kind of a company going forward?
Well, first of all, Darlene, all of us, there are 4 founders or co-founders besides myself: Joe Schlafly, who's a senior vice president with Stiefel Nicolaus, Bob Guller, who is a real estate developer in the city, and Zach Boyers, who is CEO of U.S. Bank's Community Banking Corporation. And then we recently also added a partner, Rick Holton, who is longtime St. Louisan and has a private equity firm. All of the people involved are passionately committed to making St. Louis a great place for entrepreneurs and startups, and creating a lot of energy. So we ourselves felt we wouldn't ask the community for money until we personally committed significant funds ourselves. And again, this is a not-for-profit, but we are doing this. So we all have our own, we've committed funds ourselves. And then we went out, and the Community Improvement District of the Partnership for Downtown St. Louis had a very generous 3-year commitment that they have made. The City of St. Louis itself has committed funds for this effort and support. And the state of Missouri, we won a competition for funding from the state of Missouri, the Missouri Technology Corporation, which we're very proud of, in a very competitive environment statewide. And then we have generous donors, people such as Robert Herman Sr., who's the co-founder of the VP Fair and a longtime philanthropist in St. Louis. Bert Walker, who also has been quite generous and a city resident, and quite a few others. Law firms have supported it with 3-year commitments. And more recently, after getting these commitments and having a real program, we've gone to corporations. And Peabody Energy and Emerson have very generously contributed very recently. So we are going to the community and raising as much money to have as many entrepreneurs as we can. And in terms of diversity, we really value diversity in our applicants, and we value it enough that we called every historically black college in America to let them know about the opportunity and to see if their applicants would be interested. We called many other universities to let them know. We also contacted the National Black MBA Association, the National Hispanic MBA Association, and the Asian MBA Association. So our goal is to have a great network of diverse applicants and winners. And frankly, even though somebody doesn't win, a non-winner, we don't call them losers, because when you survive a competition, 15 out of 420, you're a winner. Or if you're 30th, you're still a winner. We think the case is there to be made that St. Louis is a great place for entrepreneurs just because of all the advantages and the affordability factor, enabling them to put their money into the business, not having to do what they have to do in coastal cities and put it into housing and expensive rent.
So this is a great place because of the cost of living. They can come in. It sounds like there is a lot of support for the businesses and resources once they come in, back office support that is, for those startups. So not only do they get the $50,000 to start up, but they get a ton of back office support. So Jerry, I have enjoyed hearing about the broad outreach that you have done to bring startup companies to St. Louis. We've got a lot of diversity in that. And I know we're going to post how people can get in touch who are interested in an ARCH grant. And you did mention, before we go, you mentioned that there will be a second round of opportunity, or the next step at $100,000 level. And so we'll talk about that as well on the next visit that we have you coming on the show, because I'm sure that's going to be exciting to us as well. Okay, well,
archgrants.org is where they can find information about the program, and we'll start the 100,000 is for winners who got to this point, but there will be a new round which will be opening for applications in the fall, in October, for another group of people, and we hope to do more than 15.
So the application process will start in the fall, and then they're awarded in the following year? And
they'll be awarded shortly after the first of the year in
January. After the first of the year?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So we're very excited and hope to have more than 15 in the next round and build on what we have already.
That is outstanding. Well, I've enjoyed you on the show, and I know that our viewers have enjoyed hearing about ARCH grants and how it's going to help increase employment in our city with the number of new businesses that I'm sure that's going to come out of the startup companies that are going to be started by ARCH grants. Again, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
And thank all your partners too, because certainly we want to just spread the credit all around, just like you said earlier.
Absolutely, they deserve it. And the whole St. Louis community, frankly, has, I think there's been a pent-up demand to do something about changing the game here and really developing from the ground up startup businesses and get the word out that this is a great place. St. Louis is a great place for your business.
Well, thank you for your passion, because I can feel that passion in you regarding this project. So just thank you for that, and keep up that passion for continuing to grow St. Louis.
Thank you for your support, Darlene, and you have passion too.
Thank you. Up next is Francis Yeuh, a media activist, and we're going to talk about St. Louis's own Chinatown.
When some people struggle with their mortgage payments, they become frozen, petrified. Not knowing what to do, they do nothing. But the people who take action are far more likely to get the most positive outcome. Making Home Affordable is a free government program. Call now to talk one-on-one with a housing expert about the options that are right for you. Real help, real answers, right now.
Joining me now is Francis Yeuh. He is a media activist in our community, and today we're going to be talking about the burgeoning Chinatown in University City, a few blocks of tons of small businesses. So let's welcome Francis. How you doing?
Fine, thank you, Ms. Green. Thank you.
Good. I'm so glad I could invite you in to talk about that burgeoning community we have on Olive Street in University City, between those 8,000 block to 8,600 block. It's a mecca of small businesses there, all kinds of small business. I want don't you talk to me about that?
Yeah, thank you, Ms. Green, and Landers has the opportunity to talk about what we call Chinatown. And actually, Circus 4 just finished their performance for the 26th season last Sunday. Then when we go there and they have a family come from Florida and come to see me and say, hey, Francis, where's Chinatown here? We want to go, meet Chinese friends. We want to go to Chinatown, have some dinner there. So that's what we told them is at the Olive Street and 170 and Olive, and then to the east, to the south, north-south road, that's probably 1.5 miles. And along this strip, both sides has a lot of Chinese business and also international business. That's what we call Chinatown. We don't have a Chinatown gate like Chicago or New York, like a gate, but we consider that it's our like a Chinatown. And we have a restaurant, we have insurance, we have medical building, either Chinese medical or Western medical building, and we have insurance there. We have a gift shop, we have a haircut place. So all the and a bank too, Missouri Royal Bank there. So we have a bank there too, and then we consider that's what we call Chinatown.
Well, we have everything in St. Louis, and certainly we want to have a Chinatown. And Chicago has a Chinatown, New York, and San Francisco has a huge Chinatown. So in the St. Louis metropolitan area, right in that University City area, that strip of Olive, you're saying it's a 1.5 miles approximately.
Yes.
Chinese medicine, Chinese restaurants,
insurance,
and I'm sure there's a plan. Is there like a plan, a 5-year plan, or just talk to me about the plans, the future plans?
Okay, and actually we work with UCT Mayor Shirley Welsh for a long time, and we work with her, and she supports us too, and try to develop the University City, that strip as a Chinatown. We know UCD has 2 big areas. One is the Loop area. It's very hot right now. We have a trolley there. The other part is we call Chinatown Olive Street. And sometimes Olive Street doesn't get that much attention compared with the Loop. But we still work very hard from our community point of view, work with mayor and work with a small business owner. We try to build up this street, has fill in all the empty store. We still have a couple empty stores there, but we try to fill in everything and bring small business. The immigrant, we work hard, work day and night like a family business, and we also hire people. So if we have a business here, fill in all the empty store, and we should bring up the UCD and St. Louis City and County business going up. And talk about the 5 years plan, long-term plan. And I'm thinking is last Tuesday, St. Louis Economic Council has a seminar called Immigration and Innovation. So people realize how important immigrant to help the city. And I think in this economic condition, we should welcome any possibility can bring our economic up and can build up our foundation.
So how many businesses are there now in Chinatown?
Yeah, it's very good question, because the business keep going, and I bring a yellow pages here.
Oh, wow.
That's called 2001 Chinese.
Okay, 2011.
Chinese American yellow pages.
Okay.
Yeah, these are yellow pages.
Good.
This
So
whole
those
book,
are the yellow pages.
250 pages, listing all the business in our St. Louis community.
Okay.
And most of them, I think I can say that probably 60% of business located at U-City.
Okay.
And some business
Wonderful.
along with the West County. So that's how can show you how many like a restaurant.
So 60% are located right there in Chinatown, in that strip.
In the
and you mentioned that it's the north side of the street, the south side of the street,
both,
both sides of the street, and there's a ton of businesses. Now, there are incentive programs for people who want to start a business in Chinatown?
That's a very good question, because we should have some incentive. For example, we have a new business open. We try to put some big sign there, like advertising sign there. But sometimes, because the regulation is very limited, so that's what the area we need to work with UCT and try to make the open a new business become easier and help the business owner to do advertising. Maybe the city has a code, you cannot put a sign along the street. But I think some area we can work together to promote more business, move to the U-City, become a welcome neighborhood.
And there was just a recent opening of a new business. I attended the opening, and that was Tokyo Buffet.
Yes, yes.
And that, I imagine, was a fantastic opportunity for Tokyo Buffet to come into Chinatown.
Yeah, thank you, Ms. Darlene showed up in the grand opening lunch. And actually, that restaurant was a warehouse before. So that means the owner rebuilt the warehouse, become a store and become a restaurant. And we call Tokyo Buffet, actually it's a Tokyo International Buffet. That means we have international food, Western, Oriental, and Japanese sushi. I think this is it is the newest one along out of the street. For quite a while, we don't have any new restaurant or new business open, but it looks like kind of pick up the speed, you know. So Mr. Lin, the owner of the Tokyo Buffet, and he spent like $1 million remodeling and put all the good food there. And according to what I know is we've been there 3 times already for about a month. I think food is good, business is good, and all the neighborhood, a lot of friends I can see living in the neighborhood, they come to have dinner or lunch there.
It is good food. It is good food. So we have Tokyo Buffet in Chinatown, in Olive, and then in the city, you know, we have Sweetie Pies in Grand Center and in the Grove. So we've got all kinds of good food in the city of St. Louis. And if you want to go have Chinese, we go to Chinatown. If you want to have soul food, we go to Sweetie Pies.
Go to Italian,
and it's so good to have you talk about the small business development in Chinatown, because today we're talking about the development of small businesses. I mean, St. Louis is a mecca for developing small businesses, and you guys are playing your part in terms of continuing to develop small businesses and creating a huge opportunity for Chinatown right here in the St. Louis metropolitan area. You have any closing comments and thoughts?
I think, thank you, Ms. Green, again, give me this opportunity and talk about the future of the Chinatown or Chinese community. We are thinking, because the Chinese are very conservative, we work hard at home, we don't talk, we don't make noise, you know, we are quiet and good family. But what we are thinking is, as a community point of view, we need to reach out. We need to let the mainstream know how strong our community is. Like we have 3 Chinese schools, we have 8 church. So a lot of people here, and we have a lot of organizations. We have a Chamber of Commerce. So we need to reach out and speak out, like get more involved in the community. And we can sponsor event, we can join the event, let the community know how good we are and how much we want to donate back to the community. So hopefully we can get like a family, get together, grow up together for St. Louis.
That's awesome. Francis, thank you again for coming. And I know that now that people know about the businesses in Chinatown, right there in a little strip on Olive, between the 8,000 and the 8,600 block of this 1.5 mile strip, all kinds of businesses. You mentioned the medicine. I'm sure that there's acupuncture.
Right, Chinese medicine.
All kinds of Chinese medicine and some delicious Chinese food. Well, again, thanks for coming. And I really appreciate you sharing about Chinatown. And I know there's going to be continued growth.
Thank you.
Up next, we're going to talk to Sandra Marks, our very own business coach, and we're going to get an update on the Ink Yourself workshops around town.
There's nothing better than the feeling of realizing that you really could totally take control of your income. You can. I've been doing it for 25 years.
Ink Yourself is the brainchild of St. Louis City Comptroller Darlene Green. It came about in 2011 when Comptroller Green challenged business consultant Sandra Marks of Marks & Associates.
a lot more people interested in entrepreneurship than there used to be. When I first started my business back in the 80s, it was actually in the late 80s that I started my business. It was really kind of still the view that people who went into business probably did that because they didn't get a job or something. In other words, it wasn't seen as something that a lot of people aspire to do. And today that's really changed. I think the internet has played a big part in that, social media, just the fact that people have access to information, they have access to people, they have access to products like never before. So whereas a few years ago it might have been very difficult for someone to imagine that they might be able to go on the internet and reach literally millions of people, today that's very possible and people do it every day.
According to Keplinger.com, St. Louis is ranked number 5 for cities to start your own business. The Keplinger report says that St. Louis has the necessary incentives and easy access to resources that a small business owner needs to get started.
St. Louis is affordable from many perspectives. In fact, infrastructure in St. Louis is affordable. Real estate is affordable. There's an excellent transportation network here. And it's also a good place to incubate your business, that is, to grow your business. Not to mention there are so many small business resources. Justine Peterson, who I work for, is the nation's second largest microlender for the Small Business Administration. There's also SCORE, there's SBA, there's SBDCs. There's several groups here in St. Louis that assist small businesses.
With technology quickly evolving, many entrepreneurs are getting creative with their businesses. Social media has been the game changer. And for those who can leverage it, that game changer has become a life changer.
I definitely think that a small business owner needs to be on social media. It's basically free. Your Facebook, your Twitter, it's very important that you have a presence online so that you can let everybody know about the products and services that you have. Why spend thousands of dollars on a radio ad or something else, or an ad in a newspaper or something, when you have people that are on social media on a daily basis that not only look at what it is that you're saying, but they also share it with their network.
Starting your own business is certainly not easy, and not for everyone. Many want to do it, but Sandra Marks suggests that you make yourself marketable within your job and become a hybrid entrepreneur.
Comptroller has definitely demonstrated she's committed to getting this word out. And I committed to her as a consultant that I would do as many ink yourselves as she needed me to do. So we're going to continue this process well beyond the series we have now and just continue to get out there, because the opportunities that exist for people will change and build every day. So this is not something we're planning to do one time and then stop. There'll continue to be workshops, and really through the Comptroller's office they could probably find out when those are coming or when those next series of sessions are. But we're going to continue this until we've kind of met the needs of our region, and we've got a long way to go.
Starting your own business is literally at your fingertips. And now St. Louis Community College is getting in the game to help those wanting to get started. St. Louis Community College has taken the Ink Yourself concept and molded it into their continuing education program under professional development.
I want to thank you for joining us for this edition of It's Your Money. And we'll see you next time.